This is Pocket Size Play. We're a tabletop RPG podcast about short, compelling actual play. My name is Tim.
I'm Tor.
And I'm Timothy.
Awesome. So, Tor, what did we play this time?
We played Warren by Marshall Miller. It's about rabbits and their pretty hard lives.
Timothy, if you had to sum up what we were trying to do this session.
It's about family. It's about community and, not letting the ones you care about be sort of out on their own. Sometimes it just doesn't turn out the way you think it should.
All right. Well, let's hear how it turns out then.
I play Coriander, a round and scruffy rabbit with floppy ears. I prefer to talk myself out of troubles, and specifically if I can find some way to make a deal where everyone comes out happy. That's the way I like it. You scratch my back, I scratch yours.
My rabbit is named Lightning. I'm a young buck with a lean body, long ears, sleek coat. I'm always alert, looking out for danger, warning everyone about it. Impulsive to a fault, lots of times doing things rash, and that results usually in some consequences that affect more than just myself.
A matriarch named Luna was mauled by a cat named Sasha earlier, and the two of you brought her back to the Warren safely. The Warren Council is discussing what to do, mired in voting and talking and voting, and the rest of the Warren is in shock. However, Sasha did tell you a rumor before she left, that Luna's kit, Nettle, could possibly be just outside the green of the Warren, likely hurt.
Me, Lightning, I'm very frustrated at the lack of action by the council. I'm saying to Coriander, we gotta go. We gotta go find Nettle. They're not gonna do anything. It's up to us.
Can't run after every single rabbit that strays off and gets taken by the monsters and the cats and whatnot out there. If, however, Lightning was to still want to go out, I can't just let Lightning go out there by himself. It's
You can't let Lightning become another Nettle?
Yes.
So we open up at the edge of the green. As humans, we know the green to be a city park, but Rabbit's green is the only lush, possibly safe place to be. A very light rain has started falling since you were above last, and so everything is coated with a bit of mist. It's that type of weather where not a lot of other creatures would be out on the green. But the edge of the green is a different story because it's bordering the gray. And right now, the gray is somewhat slick, and in front of you is this gray river, for lack of a better word. These beasts that don't speak but just roar, streak back and forward in opposite directions along this gray river. It's pretty terrifying sight. Just beyond that is where Sasha had gestured that perhaps she saw an injured rabbit there this morning. But the immediate concern is what to do with this roaring river of the gray.
I've thought that one day I'm going to try to make it across the gray.
I would like to back in underneath some bushes or some vegetation nearby, and I don't know, are you following me, Lightning?
I am, yeah.
Are you also hiding? Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good idea.
I don't know, Lightning. Doesn't look good.
I kind of put my nose, I kind of stick my nose out of the bushes into the air and kind of look around. I'm looking for anything that could be a threat or a danger.
Yeah. Roll plus shrewd to pay attention.
So I rolled an 11, and I get +2, so that's actually a 13. What here is the greatest danger to me?
The cars follow a rhythm the more you pay attention. You're looking, you're smelling, and you realize that it's like they're playing some type of melody or rhythm or song, and you realize the greatest danger would be to not follow whatever rhythm, to make a misstep and end up underneath one of those wheels. A flock of pigeons has landed, and they're in the middle of the street. They're tearing apart some brightly colored thing that smells of oil and salt, and a couple fly off and are circling. A couple are fighting, and they're squawking at each other.
They have definitely annoyed me before. They do come to the green whenever there is any food left behind by the humans. I do look a bit around and see if there's any other way. I know there are man-made tunnels and weird passes over places around in the green.
One of those ugly, dirty, gray pigeons has hopped over a little bit closer, and it's looking at you through the bushes, head tilted a bit, and is making a low kind of gurgling coo as if it's not quite sure what to do with you yet.
I look at Lightning.
I suddenly just make a run for it, and I'm gonna make it like a loop run at the pigeon, try to scare him off.
Roll plus steady to incapacitate that pigeon with your blinding speed.
So I'm at a -1 here. I rolled a 4, so -1 is 3.
Take that panic. And the bird strangely stays in place, and yet its head follows you as you go in circles around it. It unnervingly stares you down and shouts at you. We're going to give you something to run from, and starts to make a noise. And a few of the other birds have started flying in a circle up above and landing on different parts of the sidewalk. And each of them is saying the same thing. They're saying, "What are you looking at? What are you looking at? What are you looking at?"
If a bunny could make a face palm, that's what I would be doing. And
It's a paw palm.
Yeah, I run back to where Coriander is and kind of get near him, realizing what I just did was like stupid. It didn't work at all.
Yeah.
I need Coriander to kind of fix it for me.
yeah, I put a paw on Lightning. Just calm down, Lightning. Before I engage with the birds, I would like to pay attention with my memory. Okay, that's a full success. 10 plus 2.
They've been taunting this whole time. What are you looking at? And now that you're in the bushes, you hear them hiding in your hidey holes. Scaredy. So many bunnies today getting into trouble. So many want to be bloodied.
Have you seen another bunny? Chocolate velvet bunny?
Eerily, every one of them turns its head to look at you at the same time as you talk. Velvety bunny crossed the river, torn apart, head falling off, innards everywhere. Another one saying, "Velvet bunny across the river, hopping about, friendly with a human on a leash." And the other saying, sleeping bunny across the river, wants to be woken up, needs a kiss."
Corey, let me at these spooky birds. They're silly. Let me at them. I'll do this involuntary backflip.
Coriander, do you want to spend a hold?
Yeah, I was thinking about confirming the status of the one about Nettle being dead is the truth. Because if it is true, then my job here is done. And we can go home.
That pigeon takes a step forward all the pigeons now eerily turn its heads at the same time to look at that one, and it cowers down just a little bit, and it says, I thought, it was another rabbit. It was another rabbit far, far away. And the other was kind of cuckoo at it, shaming it for telling a lie.
Can you hold yourself, Lightning?
I got no patience for this, Corey. I got no patience for this. It drives me nuts. Look.
Just 1 second. Birds, fabulous birds. I know about a trait. It's over by the pond in the grain.
Roll plus shrewd, Coriander.
It smells so disgusting. Oh, I'm sure you'll love it.
They're saying grimy, slimy, oily, salty, spoiled.
Okay, plus my shrewd, which is 1. That's a 7. That's a lucky roll.
They speak all at once in unison. Take us there, take us there, take us there, and start kind of lining up in a long row, looking right at you. Clearly, they will go there if you meet that demand.
I'll look at Lightning at this point, because this is Lightning's mission. And they can tell us about Nettle if I take them to the trait. Do you want to come with me, or...?
I'm going to kind of stay here and keep an eye out on the area and continue to just see what's the best way to get across the gray. So why don't you go and do what you need to do with those birds, and I'll keep an eye out here.
Okay, I bolt off and shout out to the birds. I'll show you the traits, the disgusting, oily, smelly trait.
Roll plus swift to make it to that bench by the pond.
Yeah, and I'll get a +1 forward from the reciprocity. Well, it doesn't matter, because I roll a 6.
So, Coriander, you streak out of sight. I mean, that's not a question that when you get your hindquarters moving, you pick up quite a bit of speed, but as to where exactly you end up, it's not where you would have wanted. You get near the pond, but as you're running forward, at the last moment you realize that there is this metallic structure that you know the name that all animals use for it, and it's cage. It's a big metal cage that is actually open on one side. It's laying on its side. And on the other side that's not open, there are little wheels. We know this is a overturned shopping cart. You ran straight into it and knocked yourself out for just a half second. Around you, you see lots of confused birds, and they suddenly all fly off in one instant as if they had reason to leave. Please take a panic for the stress of ending up in a caged type area. And Lightning, you're all alone. What are you doing or contemplating while you're left to fend for yourself?
I'm going to make a dash across the road and do a reconnaissance run.
Before you run into the roaring river, what stories do you know about the Black Rabbit?
I've heard stories about the Black Rabbit, but this doesn't really apply to me. That's something that happens to the gray furs and for lack of a better term, the more stupid among us.
On that note, roll plus swift to bolt through traffic.
Okay, so I rolled a 6. Good thing I get a couple of bonuses here, because I think I'm going to need them. Yeah, +1 for swift and then my +1 forward. So I rolled an 8.
So you're going to get there, but please choose one of those options from that 7 to 9 list.
I think I had a very, very close call with one of the wheels, and I think I almost got run over. So I'm going to take +1 panic.
And it's fast and terrifying, but you are in this embankment of coarse, gravelly gray instead of that smooth gray from before. And that's where you find Nettle. Coriander, you hit your head on that cage. What's going through your head as you come to in an instant?
I do not like to spend more time than necessary in human-made things. So the first thing I will do is try to get out and away from this cage.
Yeah, it gets open on one side,
Yeah.
and as you take a couple steps forward, you hear a screech of... This menace that you see step around the corner of the cage and look at you with its mottled fur, bits of it bitten off, clawed off, little patches of exposed pink flesh, one eye, a bundle of scar tissue, the other gleaming bright yellow. It's this screeching cat that rounds that last step as you get to the edge of the cage. He's looking right at you as he finishes the screech. Coriander, what do you do?
I would like to see where I can escape to.
Can you actually resist panic before you do that?
Okay,
because
that's fine. Yeah.
it's
Yeah, that's an 8 plus my steady. That's a 10. Okay, cool. Panic,
Cool.
that's fine.
a flea jumps off of this cat and leaps in front of you and takes one look at that steady assurance that you have, and that flea jumps the other way. Roll plus shrewd to pay attention, please.
That is a 6.
Lightning, we'll get back to you real quickly.
Smash cut.
Coriander, Screecher takes a step forward, and with a bit of a cough, he clears his throat and says, I found you, little rabbit, and like those other cats, I don't care to talk. And he leaps at you with blinding speed, claws out, gleaming. And let's cut to Lightning.
Oh, crap.
So, Lightning, you made it there. You found Nettle.
Mm-hmm.
Nettle is alive, breathing, looks asleep, laying in that ditch.
I think I'm going to spend my other hold. How could I get Nettle to wake up and follow me?
Two actions there. Could you get her to wake up, or how could you get her to follow you?
Yeah, how can I get her to wake up? Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the first thing.
She needs to hear a story about what is good about the Green Warren.
I get down into her ear and I start to tell a story of what it's like to run fast out of our hole first thing in the morning when the grass is still wet, playing tag with your friends. So I'm just recounting all of these sort of memories and stories of things we've done together.
And finally, when you finish, kind of lost in that vision of something so green and something that offers so much more than your current surroundings, you realize that Nettle is looking at you. Lightning, it's you. That sounds so nice. I wish I could go back.
Why can't you go back?
They call themselves the city rabbits. They say Warren is this dream that all rabbits are going to wake up from soon. That they must embrace the gray, become hard, not depend on others. There is no Warren out here.
Nettle, we have risked our lives to come and bring you back home. You need to come back and tell everyone what you're going to do. You don't have to stay, but you owe it to your family and your friends and your Warren.
Roll plus shrewd.
All right, so I rolled a 4. Plus 2 is still 6, so that's a fail. Wow.
She's jolted upright at this point, and she's able to face you as you finish that speech. And she gets a little bit closer, and she says, "All of it's a lie." And with that, she's streaking up that ravine. Please take a scar to represent that maybe some methods, some abilities are going to continue maybe to not be successful in the future. Coriander, the gleaming claws, the little pinpricks of sharp light were going right at your throat. What do you do?
I shake and shiver and Screecher, if you let me go, I know of another bunny, delicious chocolatey velvety bunny over the Grey River.
The talking continues. I heard of that velvety rabbit over there. I know where. But make your case as to why I should eat it instead of you. And if you just want to roll,
Yeah.
that can be your case.
Yeah. Okay, that's 12. Wonderful.
You see one more swipe right across a hair's width from your nose as he triumphantly feels that he's found the most delicious rabbit because he was looking for a feast, not just a snack. He turns around in an instant, has bounded away, and we'll cut quickly back to Lightning. You saw Nettle leaping up that ravine nearly at the top. You can't see what's beyond the top. It's gray sky that meets that gray stone. And as you see her ears disappear down that other side, you hear a familiar screech and a blood-curdling scream until that scream has no more blood in it. So back in that gray area where the bush was, where Coriander knew to come back to,
there's a little bit of my innocence that's been sort of taken. It just doesn't make sense why someone would pick the gray over this. I mean, where we are, so.
I'm hopping towards Lightning, not looking too happy.
Corey, it was awful. I went across the road while you were gone. I just couldn't wait. And I found Nettle. She didn't want to come back. I don't know what to do. But I just feel sick inside.
Let's go back, Lightning. Life goes on.
Coriander, what are you worried about?
I'm worried that I will be consumed by this guilt from sending off Screecher. Lightning, it's all my fault. I guess I traded Nettle's life for my own.
So Coriander, since you used your worrier trait, you can take all of Lightning's panic away and add that to your own.
I just want to go home, Corey. I don't understand anything out here.
And that's why rabbits seldom leave the green for the gray. Yeah, so Tor, how did it feel finishing up that session?
Pretty awful. I don't like Coriander anymore.
Yeah.
It was a rough sacrifice, and it did turn out a bit harsher than I thought.
I thought that moment when Coriander sort of sold out Nettle to save, his own skin, that was just a real, honest roleplay moment. Despite our best intentions sometimes, when our backs are against the wall, we do make selfish choices that hurt other people.
It did feel sort of true to when I think of the trickster archetype of rabbits, where because they can't fight their way out of situations, they have to use cunning, and there is a little bit of having to put yourself first if you want to survive. And I think that while maybe Tor, it wasn't your intent to be that type of character, it was the only way to escape that with your skin. Awesome. And then just wrapping things up for either of you, were there any mechanics that came into play that session that stand out to you?
I like the scar mechanic in the Warren a lot, and it came into play with Lightning there. He tried to speak plainly to Nettle, and it just went south. He had to take a scar. And the scar I took was that anytime I use the speak plainly move again, it's just going to automatically fail.
Thanks for joining us for Pocket-Sized Play. You can hit us up at twitter.com/pocket-sized-play and learn more about the Gauntlet gaming community at gauntlet-rpg.com. Thanks, everyone.